What up, what up? Salvador Brigman here, and today we're talking about the number one reason why crowdfunding campaigns fail. Why do Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns fail to hit their fundraising goal? Why is it that they fall short? Why don't they surpass wildly their fundraising goal and become one of these crowdfunding success stories? That's what I'm exploring with today's video. And I think it's something that's extremely frustrating. If you've been putting so much time and energy into making this campaign, you've been spending months of your life making this a successful launch only to see it flops. It hurts your ego, your friends and family see that you failed, you've maybe invested money and time, all these different things end up not working out. And the sad thing is that this is actually true of the majority of campaigns out there. You take it, say, in aggregate, about 65% of the campaigns on Kickstarter fail to hit their funding goal. And even if you go more category specific, so for example, the technology category, around there, about 80% of the campaigns fail to hit their fundraising goal. And obviously some of the statistics are a bit better around some categories like dance, theater, comic books, maybe seeing 50% that are successful, but still, those aren't great numbers. Think about that. The chances of you actually raising funds is not in the majority. So I want to change that. I want to give you some of the ways to think about not only crowdfunding, but also with this channel, some of the strategies that you can employ to actually be successful. And to sort of understand my own perspective on this, I started getting involved in crowdfunding, writing about it in 2012. And in 2012, there's basically no information out there about crowdfunding. There are no what there is today in terms of what you can learn from or proven strategies that work in terms of getting funding for your campaign. And I sort of discovered that because people started to ask me, hey Sal, I feel like I have no idea where to begin, or this process seems really mysterious. Where should I even start? And that's where the basis of my blog actually started. And that's why over time I became more and more of an authority in the space as I began to demystify crowdfunding. And that's led to a lot of free educational resources. Things like my podcast, things like this YouTube channel, things like kickstarterforum.org. Kickstarter Forum is basically an online forum where people can go, they can ask questions, they can interact with other campaigners and creators, and they can really gain a sense of community. That they're not doing this alone. If you're from a very small town in the United States or even across the world, maybe in Mexico or Spain, it can feel really lonely to run a campaign yourself. So that forum I built is a free resource for people going through this process. And it sort of got to a point where, okay, I had a bunch of information out there, myself, also other people were beginning to add to the community. But at the same time, I had readers, I had listeners, and even YouTube viewers who basically consume my content. They read a blog article or they listen to one of my podcasts and they go out there, they try to raise funds, and they are still not successful. And it's frustrating, not only for me, because I'm putting in all this work to sort of distill these principles, but it's also frustrating for them. So I started to interview them, to ask questions, to really get an understanding of their mindset, all of these different things. And sort of what I came to realize, or to come away from that, was that there was a set of principles that work in terms of getting funding. And then there is what people are actually doing, and there is this divide between what they're actually doing and what works in terms of raising money on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And my goal has always been to bring them together, to have them work in tandem. You fully understand how to market your campaign. You fully understand how to get backers. But for some reason, this information was not translating. It wasn't going in depth enough. And that's sort of when I began to do things like begin to create my online course, begin to offer mentorship programs, that kind of stuff. So there's more one-on-one. People can ask me questions. I can look at their campaign. All of this kind of stuff is when I began to get much more involved in that kind of stuff. Now, I think the way that successful campaigners, at least those that have come on my podcast and also those that are part of my forum, people that I've spoken with, tend to view the Kickstarter launch process is very different than the way that other people do. And it's also something where their attention and time is actually spent on something different than what most people spend their attention and time on. And the secret here is basically that they spend an enormous investment of personal time, energy, and even monetary investment on assembling a team around themselves that positions them to be successful. So what do I mean by that? I mean a team that is good at different things that they are themselves are not good at. So if they're not good at marketing, they outsource that. They have someone else run their Facebook ads. They have someone else do PR, all these different things. If they don't know where to begin, they then hire the services of a mentor to guide them along the crowdfunding waters. All of these different things, they assemble a team around themselves. And that not only does it mean that then more people are invested in their success, more people are rooting for them or talking about them and sharing the project, etc., but it also allows them to do something larger than themselves, do something larger than just them alone would be capable of. And that's sort of the secret, I think, that many campaigns don't talk about, is the fact that they are able to do so much, they're able to succeed in such a large way because of this team. There's this sort of perception out there that this one person did everything, but usually that is not the case. There's someone out there that's good at product. There's someone that's good at branding and marketing and etc. And together, this team pulls off this tremendous feat of surpassing their goal on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and other crowdfunding websites. You can actually sort of think of it as if you're planting, say, a flower, or let's say you're planting a tree. You start out with a tiny seed, and you put that into the soil. And then you add water, you add sunlight, you add fertilizer, and it begins to grow into a sapling. And once it's still a sapling, you don't harvest it yet. You continue to invest in the process. You continue to put in water and sunlight, and eventually it grows into a tree. And then you can harvest the fruit of that tree, and you can plant other seeds, and try to create this orchard, maybe this apple orchard, or you're taking some apple and you're eating it yourself. And you're also then taking some of the apples and getting a bushel together and selling it at the local farmer's market. And then you use that money to buy better fertilizer, or to buy someone to help you grow the next set of trees, or to have someone consult and tell you which type of fertilizer is best to get your tree to grow healthy and strong. I think it's a very, very similar process when it comes to growing a whole new business. There's this sort of desire to make a bunch of money. You have your revenue, you have your expenses, and then your profit, and just sort of take that profit out of the company. Whereas successful entrepreneurs will, instead of taking that profit out of the company, use that profit to actually continue to grow the business and to continue to leverage their previous success. So that's a long way of saying, work on building a team. Work on learning from people who have access to knowledge, access to strategies, access to just ways of going about what you're trying to accomplish. Make sure you try to bring them into your team in a tangible way. So I hope you found this video to be helpful. I invite you to go out and check out some of my other YouTube videos. In addition, if you'd like my free course on PR and also some of the principles that I recommend to blow past your fundraising goal, I'll include a link to that down below so you can check out some of those free videos. But as always, I always love hearing from you guys, so be sure to leave a comment down below. Give me a thumbs up if you did like this video. And finally, come subscribe if you want more videos like this. Again, my name is Sal, and I'll see you next time.